Alright, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I've got to talk about this petty billionaire fight that ended up taking years to settle in the courts over a Dave Chihuly statue that cost $1 million. For those of you that don't know, I guess Dave Chihuly is a sculpturist, and this billionaire had a sculpture of his installed at his house. His neighbor sued him, and they've been going back and forth for years, which is surprising to me, because if you gave me $1 billion, I would become very hard to piss off. Mainly because I would just be like on my island somewhere sipping a Mai Tai, not worrying about any of this crap. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like if you give someone $1 billion, they just kind of should chill out a little bit. You won the game, bro. Like what is there for you to be mad about? Billionaire Bill Gross won his farcical dispute with a neighbor who complained about his Dave Chihuly sculpture, but not before the Grosses did jail time for blasting the Gilligan Islands theme song on repeat. I understand having a bad neighbor, but I've never understood how these disputes get to the point where people are like using psychological warfare and setting up speakers to blast it at each other's houses because they're so pissed off over each other's $1 million statues on their $40 million houses, you know? Like they're living in Laguna Beach in these beautiful mansions, but they still somehow have the time to be setting up speakers to be constantly blasting at their neighbor's house with the Gilligan Island theme song. This entire dispute could have been boiled down to just one simple solution, alright? Not ever letting it escalate this far. I mean, my goodness, all of this over a statue. This better be the coolest statue I've ever seen. It better secretly be an animatronic AI robot waiting for the singularity to happen so it could defend the house. I don't know, I just feel like if I had $1 billion, I would definitely have better things to do than set up the speakers to blast Gilligan Islands. I'm different than this guy, I guess. But I feel like you can literally do anything. Why would you want to spend your time just pissing off your neighbor? Bill Gross, also known as the Bond King for founding the PIMCO Investment Fund, has won a drawn-out, often farcical dispute over a $1 million Dave Chihuly glass sculpture the billionaire installed on the edge of his property in Laguna Beach. Alright, if he founded PIMCO, then dude is like super ultra mega rich. PIMCO is kind of known as the leader in like the bond market. They do a whole lot of trading when it comes to that stuff. Whole lot of product offerings, so he's raking it in. I mean, obviously, it's insane. You have to be crazy rich to just spend $1 million on a statue. I mean, let's break it down. I think we would all agree that if somebody had $1 million cash, that would put them into like the pretty wealthy category. Not insanely like wealthy, you're not set for life or anything, but that's a lot of money to have cash. Now imagine somebody being rich enough where it makes financial sense for them to take that same $1 million and just spend it on a statue. This dude is rolling in it, probably walks into his garage and is like, which Rolls Royce would I like to take today? I have 70 of them. I wonder if the statue is ugly. Like, you would think it was the most beautiful statue on the planet if it was going to cost $1 million, but if his neighbors are so pissed off that he put it up, is there some reason? Like, is this statue secretly just a flashlight that shines into their bedroom at night? Like, I'm trying to think what this statue could possibly be so annoying that they felt the need to draw out this huge dispute with everybody blasting Gilligan's theme songs at each other, lawsuits, the whole shebang. This is a really intense battle over a statue. His neighbors, tech entrepreneur Mark Taufik and wife Carol Nakahara, complained to the city after Gross and his wife Amy put a net over the 10-foot artwork to protect it from the elephants. Not the elephants, sorry, the elements, but I guess also elephants too. They want to protect it from that for sure. It is a glass sculpture. Taufik claimed that his neighbors needed permission to install both the work and the net, and it blocked his previously unobstructed sea view. Alright, listen man, if you're gonna spend $1 million on a sculpture just to cover it with a net, why did you buy $1 million sculpture? You're not getting the whole view of the artwork if you're just gonna throw a net over it. I understand you want to protect it from the elements, but at the same time, like, now there's just a huge net over your beautiful artwork. Probably doesn't look the same. And I can understand where the neighbor's coming from. I'm not saying that the guy doesn't have the right to put up the sculpture on his property. I guess that's what the ultimate decision was, and listen, if that's the law, then that's the law. But I can understand why his neighbor would be upset if he used to have this beautiful view of the ocean and one day he wakes up and there's this sculpture with a big net around it instead. I think anyone in that situation would be like, dude, what the heck? Come on, I'm trying to see the ocean when I wake up and now I just see a net with a bunch of pigeon poop on it. Who am I kidding? This guy's a billionaire. He probably has a full-time employee whose job it is to like clean the net every morning and make sure it's pristine and beautiful. It just always seems like the rich people are the pettiest. What's crazy is this is not the only time I've ever heard of it. I'm not sure like who it was, but there were some billionaires that got into a huge dispute over an island and like literally were playing music at each other on loudspeakers all the time. Same exact vibe. Like, the fact that this has happened multiple times with insanely wealthy individuals goes to show you that they might be some of the pettiest people on the planet. And the worst part is they can afford the lawyers to be like real petty. You know what I'm saying? If this guy wants to play Gilligan's Island towards your house, he's gonna spend 200 grand on a speaker system that was made for like military hostage situations to surround the compound. He's gonna have the best of the best. He's not just using an Apple docking station to blast music at you. The city of Laguna Beach has now ruled that Gross was within his rights to install the artwork and erect a net to protect it. While the process was protracted, it was worth it in the end to finally establish that the Gross's application to install a beautiful work in art in their private backyard fully complies with the city and the Coastal Commission requirements, an attorney for Gross said in a statement, according to the New York Post. I get why the neighbor was pissed off, but yeah, I don't really think that you have to get permission to put a statue in your backyard. It would obviously suck to have my ocean view blocked by a statue, but at the same time, it's his backyard. He can kind of put stuff up there as long as the statue itself isn't illegal. I don't know, I feel like that's the way it kind of should be. I know it's controversial. Maybe I would think differently if my ocean view was blocked, and I definitely wouldn't be taking it to the level to be blasting Gilligan's Island at my neighbor, but yeah, if I want to put something in my backyard, it's my backyard. Sucks that it blocks your view, but at the end of the day, my backyard. I don't understand what the neighbors expected the city to do, like come in and just tell him, look, you can't have this in your backyard. I guess if there's any state that would happen, it probably would be like California, but at the same time, it is his property. Like, I don't really know how they're gonna go in there and tell him that he can't have it there. It's his house. All of this, though, all these lawyer fees, like, they both probably spent so much money having this argument. At the bare minimum, he bought the speaker system, but they've also been going back and forth with attorneys and whatnot, and probably teams of attorneys. I don't know if you guys were familiar with this, but lawyers tend to not be cheap. Yeah, lawyers tend to be pretty dang expensive, so the fact that they both lawyered the hell up to fight over this statue that already cost $1 million in their $40 million homes, way too much money and free time on their hands. Like, come on, there are more important fish to fry. You're a billionaire. You gotta be doing cool things like building theme parks where they're bringing dinosaurs back to life. The Grosses moved into their $35.8 million home in 2019 and apparently enjoyed a good relationship with the neighbors, but over the course of the dispute, the relationship deteriorated massively and Gross started blasting loud music, including the Gilligan's Island theme song on repeat and using a remote device when not at the property. Tofik installed CCTV cameras to monitor the area, and Gross complained that the security cameras were directed at them, making them feel as though they were in a prison and that the neighbor was a peeping Tom. Both couples filed restraining orders against each other, and the Grosses were later ordered to spend 5 days in jail for continuing to blast music in violation of a court order that forbade them from doing so. Dude, this fight got insanely petty. My goodness. They were like, I'm willing to do time in the slammer if it makes my neighbor look stupid. I don't care. The fact that they were friends before this too, like the first time he asked him, do you think it was pretty chill? Hey man, the net above the sculpture kind of blocks my view. Is there any way you can get rid of it? And the guy was like, no, are you stupid? I love this sculpture. And from that moment on, they became sworn enemies. Spy versus spy. Seriously, dude, I could never imagine my neighbor pissing me off to the point where I was like setting up speakers to blast at them and then setting up CCTV cameras to allegedly be spying on them and like zooming in on the backyard. This hit levels that you would only see in Hollywood. Like, this is something I would expect from Mr. and Mrs. Smith's sequel where it's two neighbor sets of spies instead. I don't expect this to just be happening with dudes that used to be golfing together at the country club. I hate that man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be blasting music all the time. 5 days in jail. Whew, that's a big change of pace if you're usually used to living that billionaire lifestyle. All of a sudden, you're in the slammer for 5 days. I bet you he was not a big fan of that. Amy and I are relieved we can finally enjoy our art in peace and in full compliance with the city of Laguna Beach, Gross said in a statement following the verdict. While we are pleased at the final outcome, it's disappointing that it took so long, cost too much, and diverted valuable city, state, and court resources for what was essentially a dispute among neighbors. I didn't even think about that, but imagine you're waiting on a trial or something to like get out of jail. Your court date just keeps getting pushed back because they're too busy dealing with these two billionaires and their frivolous lawsuits. Goodness gracious, all over a view. Like, I understand it's a very expensive view. I get why he's pissed off, but imagine like a multi-year litigation battle getting dragged out, spending probably millions of dollars on lawyer fees, not loyal fees. Lawyer fees, probably. Like, I don't know that for sure. All to just end up, like, keeping the statue there. I can get why you would maybe be like, oh, I'll threaten to sue you to get it removed. But after year 2 of nothing happening, I would probably give up on the lawsuit. I'd be like, all right, this isn't going to work out. The fact that they both decided to take this all the way to the very end, you're a billionaire. I know you don't want to move, but like, you could buy the nicest house one street away where no one would care. And I'm sure you got the money to move the statue. If anything, with all the money you've spent on lawyer fees, it probably would have been cheaper to just move. But hey, it's not my money. Anyways, I just thought this was a pretty funny situation y'all would enjoy. If you did, I would really appreciate y'all taking a second to press the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. And of course, subscribe if you're new. I post 2 videos a day. Yeah, that's right, dos. So if you appreciate videos like this, subscribe, turn on notifications. And on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. I'm out. Peace.